Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. As always, I'm your host, Stewart Kraintz. We have another amazing guest for you this week. I am going to intro her to you all in a minute, but before I do, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon too, so you be sure to get all of the updates as we produce them over the coming months. Got a lot of great interviews in the pipeline for you guys. We want to make sure you get everything you need to create the life of your dreams. And while we're at it, be so kind as to share this with at least one other person. Cost of admission here is always free. So please, please, please share this with at least one other individual if you found this conversation inspiring or helpful towards your goals and dreams today. So I want to introduce today's guest. She is somebody that has been a mentor of mine on my personal growth journey, helping me achieve material success, like upping my financial success, supporting me in creating results in my physical well-being, in my spiritual well-being, but more importantly, like helping me have a lot more joy in my day-to-day life. So I want to introduce, we like to call her Party Hearty, but I want to introduce Marti Ouellete to the show today. Marti, thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah, Coach Party Hearty Marti.
Absolutely. And Marti, I just want to dive right in on this topic of, just joy, happiness, fulfillment. I know the folks can't see this, but your Zoom logo is this amazing photo of you with these humongous yellow glasses and a bright yellow SpongeBob members only jacket that I think would be the envy of millennials and Gen Z alike. How does somebody begin to step into this level of joy and authentic expression for themselves?
Oh, thank you for that. For me, SpongeBob, I was in transformation. I've been doing personal development work and leadership development, I want to say my whole life. And I made it hard. I made it difficult. And as a project risk manager, I was always looking for what wasn't working. And I never celebrated, and I'm sure you can relate to this, I never celebrated what was working or what I enjoyed. I spent my weekends figuring out how to do better the next week, like really focused on making it hard to get better, because that's how I thought you got better, right? Focus on what's working, not what's not working, and make it better. And I had kids. So as you can imagine, I'm a board member, I'm volleyball coach, soccer mom, all the things. And like life was hard. My children started watching SpongeBob. My God, I can't believe, I don't even know how long SpongeBob's been around. And at first, the voices were annoying to me, super annoying. My kids were fascinated. And I started listening. And I started listening to SpongeBob and Patrick, really make light of things. They were talking about in SpongeBob world. I'm trying to remember the name of the SpongeBob world.
Bikini
They
Bottom.
Yes, Bikini Bottom. Thank you. They were for them, they were struggling with friendships, relationships, making things hard, getting a driver's license. But they made light of it. And then we had Squidward, who was always down in the dumps, always making things hard. Mr. Krabs wanting nothing but money. And SpongeBob and Patrick just had this way of turning things around. They were always very curious. They were always happy. And I thought, oh my gosh, as we were talking about things that were hard at the time, my husband and I were going through bankruptcy, foreclosure. This was 2009, 2010. I had gotten laid off. Sitting down and watching a SpongeBob episode could really light me up. And then I went through transformation. Completely by accident. I went to an event called the Celebration of Life. Martha Beck and Elizabeth Gilbert were speaking. I'm at this event. I know nobody there. And it was beautiful. People sharing, Elizabeth Gilbert sharing her life, Martha Beck sharing her life, them having us do exercises to understand more about ourselves. Never had really done like deep self inquiry. It was all about the doing, all about what I was achieving or participating in. And I received a text message that somebody very close to me had passed away, and I was crushed. This woman was a coach and a mentor to me, and I had read the book Year of Yeses by Shonda Rhimes.
Hmm.
I had read the book Year of Yeses, which was the reason I was at the celebration of life. Year of Yeses, say yes. Normally I wouldn't go to things unless somebody went with me, and I went to this event by myself. So I was in the elevator. I backed into a back elevator at the hotel to kind of duck out when I heard the news. And I heard somebody say, hold the door. And I held the door open, and in walked Martha Beck and Elizabeth Gilbert. And I don't know, word disheveled just came to mind, but I was upset. And I was trying to hide it in the corner. And Elizabeth Gilbert like put her hand on my shoulder and said, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, you're like, started prodding me. And I said, well, I just got news that I lost a friend. She said, isn't it interesting that you're at an event called the Celebration of Life when you heard this news? So I want to know how you got here in this moment.
Mm.
And I told her about the Year of Yeses, and she gave me a big hug. It even makes me emotional now to think about it. She gave me a big hug, and she said, I want you to continue saying yes.
Wow.
So the next yes was somebody at this event invited me to the Zone event, which was a leadership event for people in an organization. And then from there I ended up doing a transformational training. And then I just kept saying yes. And that's what SpongeBob does. He's always saying yes. He's always saying yes. He's always open to jellyfishing. Like he's always open to new things. He's open to learning Squidward's job. Like it just kind of all, it's like the magics just kept coming into my life. And when I stopped and got present to what's there, the joy is there all the time. It's not
Yeah.
conditional. It's not based on what's happening. There's just joy there. You choose it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you're likening SpongeBob to somebody that we can all learn something from, because I feel like a lot of stories, a lot of movies, particularly those for kids, do have a lot of phenomenal messaging if we only look at them that way. We watched Harold and the Purple Crayon last
Oh,
night as a family. And, Zach Levy is playing Harold, who has this purple crayon. He can draw anything and it comes to life, it becomes real. And the entire movie is this guy who is endlessly optimistic, endlessly joyful, endlessly cheerful, always looking out for others, always seeing the possibility in a situation and leaning heavily into his imagination, and everyone else making him wrong throughout the process. And SpongeBob does the same thing. He has his sidekick Patrick, but Squidward, Mr. Krabs, like a lot of the other characters are basically being the foil to
yeah.
all of the optimism. How do you feel people lose sight of this childlike wonder? How do we regain it?
I love the question because I've been thinking about this a lot. I just think it's natural. I think when you're a child, your parents are just trying to keep you safe. They're not saying, go jump off the couch, go jump off the bed. Like as parents, we like to think that we're doing that, but we're really struggling to keep them safe. And so that's what they learn. Worry, look for what could happen. I mean, I think about this every time I say to my kids, drive safe, instead of saying have fun. Like I have to be very mindful of the words I use. My great example, my daughter's going to a concert the other night, and I start down the road of Where's the concert? What time is it? Who are you going with? Like looking for what could possibly go wrong, which is
Mhm.
Squidward, which is Mr. Krabs. Like instead of saying what's possible, oh, how fun. Who's going with you? Oh, that's amazing. Amanda, I love her. What artist are you listening to? Like when we're children, we teach them to be safe. We teach them to look to be safe. Yeah. So how do I thought about this a lot because I did transformation in my 40s. And there's a lot of teen training out there. There's a lot of opportunities for teens to understand the stories that they made up about themselves and their abilities when they were children that they don't know that they're carrying. So the conversation is like first of all, as parents, teach them to fail, right? Teach them to try new things all the time and be conscious and present as parents as to what you're teaching your children about safety versus opportunity. But then things happen, like you send them off to high school. And the biggest thing, right? We send them off to college. So how do you keep that childlike wonder and safety? And I think it's just a balance. Like you have a kid when he goes to play soccer, when he goes to a tournament, what's your conversation like with him?
For us, it's encouraging him to play hard, not get too upset about the outcome, but just play hard, play his best, and have fun.
Have fun. Exactly. Have fun. My son is first year of college and he's being super, I want to say super serious, super me about it. Like he has done his 4 years of scheduling the classes he's going to take. He wants to be a dual major, like all the things. But I noticed that what he's choosing is safe. What he's choosing is what he knows his brother did, and brother immediately got a job. And I can tell in his conversations that it's not lighting him up. What he wants to do, astrophysics. But he
Wow.
says, he loves it and he's a brainiac at it. But the first thing he says to me is, I don't see how I can make money being an astrophysicist.
Mm.
I was like, why are you focused on making money? Why are you focused on making money? Aren't you focused on doing what you love and the money will follow? And he says, I don't believe that.
Wow.
But
So keep going. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's about choosing joy, like choosing joy. When you are choosing joy, I think you know this very well. When you are choosing joy, the money follows.
Yeah. Rick Rubin, who is, a super world renowned music producer, founded Def Jam Records. He came out with a book a year or two ago all about the creative process. And the main takeaway from the book is make music or art or basically pursue whatever the thing is that fills you up, do it for you. Because when you are creating and vibing on a level that is for you and fills you up, that's going to attract other people versus being in this place of, what do I got to do so people will like me so that they'll pay me the money or they'll buy my product? And I feel like that's what I hear you saying. It's a challenge, though, for a lot of people because money is a very important factor in a lot of the decisions we make, in a lot of the forces that end up being at play in our lives. And you opened up a little bit earlier in this conversation about some financial struggles that you guys had in the past in your own family. From a practical sense, how do you suggest people choose the joy, choose the passion, choose the energy when they got bills to pay?
So it's such a hard lesson, place to be in, when you're in that moment and you can't see forward and you can't see out. It's the old adage of gratitude. right?
Hmm.
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. My journaling prompt every morning is gems, right? 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're excited about, and 3 things you're manifesting, and staying in that energy. My program is integrity as a strategy. So when I get to be integrous with myself, I really struggled. I really had a hard time. Um, one of the reasons I went through transformation is because I wasn't sure if I wanted to move forward. I don't, if I, it was devastating. I think this first step, if you find yourself in that space of scarcity, the first step is to separate yourself from who you are and your value as a human being, from the money in your bank account, from the revenue you're earning, from the status that you have. Because I firmly believe we all have unique gifts given to us from God, number one, God, spirit, whatever you believe. But you matter because you are somebody else's whole world.
Yeah.
Whether it's your wife, your children, your husband, your parents, your brothers and sisters, the neighbor next door, the person who meets you every day at work, like you matter because you are somebody's entire world. Your mother, your father. Start there. I matter. And this is just a bump in the road. It's not the end of it. And because I always like, I want to say spirit, God, universe. Things don't get taken away to bring in something worse. They get taken away to give something better. Something better is coming.
Yeah.
The darkness is always comes before the light.
Yeah.
If you go back and think, what's difficult is in that moment, it's hard to see that. But if you go back, and maybe this is the practice, right? When you find yourself in that spot and don't have another dime in your account to pay your bills, go back and see when you did. Go
Yeah.
back and see, what else did I overcome like this? Because I made
Yeah.
it this far.
I don't know if you've ever heard of a book called Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin,
Mm-mm.
but I know Jen Sincero's You're a Badass at Making Money is widely regarded in the life coaching space as one of the top books on money. But I actually encourage the listeners to go pick up Your Money or Your Life. Again, the author is Vicki Robin. And I think she does a great job marrying the practical. So these are the steps you get to take to fix your situation and exactly what you're talking about. The not beating yourself up for what was, not making yourself feel like a loser for your current situation, and tying in the aspect of faith, tying in self belief, self worth into the conversation, and giving you actionable steps to get where you want to go. And just to give a quick peek, this might challenge some people, but one of the things she has you do is list out, like physically take the time to list out every single time money goes out of your account in a month, and also every single time money comes in. And just going through the exercise of doing that, you not only see, like, okay, I'm spending way too much money on fast food, but you can also see, wow, we brought in $12,000 this month as a family. Imagine what we could do if we actually like stopped throwing it away on stuff that doesn't actually fulfill us. And I just encourage folks to lean in here a bit. Like, sometimes taking the situation by the horns is the scariest first step, but it's just the intention of getting there, like the intention of, I'm going to solve this. Like, if it's to be, it's up to me. But more importantly, allowing yourself to see the good that you're doing. I'm in a season of my life where my income just dramatically increased, and I'm very grateful to God for that. But like, the visual for myself of seeing how much money has been in my account at some point this month shows me that I'm capable, I'm worthy on some level, and I have a lot of agency in this world. And it has nothing to do with the job I do out there in the world, but it has everything to do with how I view myself and therefore attracting the money I feel like I'm worthy of.
Yeah, a very smart coach of mine always says your value is you can understand your self-worth by looking at your bank account,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Tosha Silver wrote a book called It's Not Your Money. She has exercises in there too about your relationship with money. Like you get to have a relationship with money like you have a relationship with your wife. A lot of coaches will tell you this, like, what's the internal conversation you have about money? Is money evil? Do you believe money is evil? Do you believe God wants you to have money? Um, Asking yourself, what is the childhood stories I have about money? I remember asking my father, my dad came home from work and my mom wanted to go out to dinner. And my dad said to my mother, we don't have any money. And I said, why don't you write a check? I probably was 6 or 7 years old. I didn't understand what that meant. And I remember getting a whack for that. And I had no idea. So to me, money was evil. And I didn't know that energetically I was pushing it away. So growing up, like money to me was like good little soldiers lined up in a savings account, like not vesting them, not anything, like just save, 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 save. So understanding that money is energy, I get to spend it and it comes back to me. I get to be generous with it and it comes back to me. That's what Tosha Silver talks about.
Yeah. And folks, for those of you listening, notice how much lighter and free this part of the conversation feels versus like, I got to stuff money away. I got to hide it in a shoebox under my bed. I got to stick it in a pickle jar, like whatever the case is. I don't believe that money necessarily buys happiness, but it definitely allows us to solve a lot of the problems that arise in our lives. And I think that allows us to feel a sense of greater openness and like you said, the flow of life as it currently stands.
It supports your purpose and your vision. Like my ultimate vision is to have a hobby farm in northern Arizona where foster kids who are living in group homes on a very regimented schedule can come and spend the summer and they work on the hobby farm. Maybe they work and earn money, but they get to get
Mhm.
away from all of this and detox and be in nature and pick up the chicken eggs in the morning and feed the horses. And like that's money coming through me in order to serve others is like you can feel that generosity in your body. You can feel
Yeah.
it moving through. That's to me, that's the purpose. It's energy. That's all money is exchange of energy.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel the energy flowing in this conversation just hearing you describe your vision for this farm. And I feel like we get to drill down here a bit. So you have this amazing vision, you have this amazing dream. Obviously, it's going to take some type of money to make it a reality. And I feel like this is where most people get stuck. It's I want to have this thing, but oh my gosh, I got to have this much money in order to make it happen. Practically speaking, where is the flow between the practical
So
making the money happen? And
listen to what you just said too. You said, well, I got to have this before I have this, and I got to have this before I have this, right? We do
Mhm.
that throughout our life. Oh, I can't have family photos done because I've gained 20 pounds. I got to lose and then you never have the family photos done, right? If I waited until I had the money to buy the farm, it will never happen because I'm waiting for something. So
Yeah.
it's funny that you asked this because I had a conversation with a realtor 2 weeks ago and asked them to find me a property in northern Arizona. And he said, how much money do you have to spend? I was like, I have no idea because I don't have it yet. And he's like, what? So I told him my vision. I shared my vision with him. And we started to think about opportunities. maybe I rent a farm. Maybe there's somebody who has a farm and doesn't want to sell, wants to keep the farm and the land in the family, but it's not operating right now, right? Maybe there's somebody who would love to invest in a nonprofit organization. Like we started brainstorming ideas. So this is where, and Joe Dispenza, we all love Joe Dispenza, right? Talks about remembering your future now. Like, don't stand now. When you're waiting for something, you're standing in the right now and going, I have no resources, right? But remember who you are in the future. Okay, I can see myself on that farm. I can see myself getting up in the morning and dragging those teenage kids out of bed at 5 a.m. to go feed the chickens. Like, I can see that. I can see us playing. I can see them detoxing. I can see them sharing their open hearts. So, and now I have a realtor who sees the vision as well, right?
Yeah.
And he's excited about finding people who connect. And he said, like, what if multiple people invested in this? I'm like, yeah, let's bring
Yeah.
it. So now we're thinking of opportunities. So you feel the energy shift from, I got to wait till I have the money to buy that, to now what's possible? We've opened the gates.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so good. And for the listeners listening to this, I challenge you. I'm sure many of you have goals, you have your dreams. Where are you allowing your attachment to how it has to look to prevent you from actually taking that next step, from doing what Marti just did, which probably sounded absolutely crazy to some of you, to approach a realtor with no money to invest in this exact moment. But through inspiring this realtor in her vision, like now she's thinking creatively, the realtor's thinking creatively, they're standing in the possibility of what is to be created and the impact and the benefit that these kids are going to get to enjoy. That got some energy moving, got some actual wheels turning to making this a reality. Allow yourself to color outside the lines on your own goals as well.
When my first house was foreclosed on, I was like, what? There was a lot of fear there. And I started to think about what's possible. Where could we live? Because not even of a because. I want to say because I didn't really like where we lived. I knew there was, when the day we bought the first house where we moved here, intuitively, I knew it wasn't my forever home. Like I knew it. I had no idea why it wasn't going to be, but I knew it. But we were retiring from the military and we needed a home. So it started to be like, okay, so why didn't you listen to that? Number one. Number two, maybe this was a lesson, right? This was a lesson. This was a growth opportunity. There's something here. There's something here. And we love our new neighborhood and we love the school the kids went to. And I'm so happy we went through that. It was tough. Yeah, it was tough. And when you're in it, you're not happy about it. But in hindsight, I'm thrilled that we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I feel like going back to our buddy SpongeBob here, like releasing the attachment to what it had to look like absolutely served you in creating the life that you did for your children. Like, had you and your husband chose that this was going to be like the end of your lives because you were foreclosing on your home, it actually could have been, and it actually could have been, a much different outcome for your children as well. And so I just want to acknowledge you for that.
oh, well, here's where serendipity came in.
Mhm.
I had just started to become a court-appointed special advocate for kids in foster care. So a CASA. So
Mhm.
what a CASA is assigned to, there's 60,000 kids in the US that are in foster care. CASAs are volunteers that are the eyes and ears of the judge, and they have access to everything, and they make recommendations to the judge as to what needs to happen with the kids. You are required to establish a relationship with the kids. So who more needs to be not attached to the outcome than a child in foster care?
Yeah. Wow.
Who more needs to understand that anything is possible, but they have to be the one to declare it? Like they're young children. I mostly work with the teenagers, but like they're still angry about like I was angry about losing the house. They're angry about their situation. They want to be victims to it, which in my opinion they are. But nothing's going to change if you're focused on the past, focused on victimhood. Now you have the power to change your life moving forward. And I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. Your family's separated. I get what's going on. I teach them to use their voice. I teach them to stand in court and tell the judge what they want and what they don't want.
Wow. Wow. You know, we talk a lot about leadership on this podcast, and I know the listeners have heard myself and the other guests talk a lot about maintaining your sense of agency in a situation. You know, thinking of life as a game, whatever set of circumstances we have are just the rules that we are currently blessed to play the game by. And I think the theme of this conversation is that to create a fulfilled life, to create a life that's worth living, writing a story that's worth reading, it's all about continuing to write the chapters. It's all about continuing to move forward no matter what your situation is. And I'm wondering, obviously you can't name names, but do you have any stories, success stories of the kids you've worked with and what they've been able to create several years down the line after pretty awful situation?
I know of foster kids who have gone on and received college degrees. I know of one right now who graduated from high school and could not wait to get out of the foster care system and wanted to quit. And after much coaching, they've re-entered the foster care system and are going to college. So they get free college as foster kids, and they have support, and she purchased a car. She has a job. She is learning how to be an adult without parents. Like there's a whole system that supports her. She's determined to fight for herself and her future.
Yeah.
She is, I don't know, as a mom, it's always hard to see they're sad about not having the family, but she gets to make her own.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, for me as a CASA, it's holding space with, I'm here to hold you, to let you cry, to mourn and grieve what you thought was going to happen. Right. And we get to use the paintbrush to paint possibility.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And I know it's cliche, folks, but we are always writing the next chapter in our lives. And so we can choose to allow the story to go a certain way, or we can flip the script, so to speak, and choose to make it what we want it to be based on where we're at currently.
Yeah. So the integrity as a strategy, this is what I talk about with my CASA kids. Like, be in integrity with yourself, be in integrity with others. You will transform your life and your relationship with money. Like you said, make a list of everything that the money is going out, and then having the awareness that, holy crap, if we stopped eating out 3 nights a week, we'd have this much more resources to do other things, like to take a trip, whatever it is, right? So it is not about beat up. It is not about noticing where you're out of integrity to beat yourself up. It is about noticing what I want. Am I being in integrity with what I want? I want to lose 20 pounds. Is eating this cookie putting me in or out of integrity? I can choose to eat it. But notice I just stepped out of integrity with myself.
Yeah.
With my foster kids, that's what's happened to them. Their parents are out of integrity with their commitment to being your parent. So now you get to be in integrity with yourself and what you want. And make super sure that everybody that's on the team for these particular kids are in integrity with their commitment to this child.
What I love about that piece of integrity is it actually does help take out a lot of the self beat up, because then our actions become data points.
Yeah.
I had a drink last night. It was really, really sugary. I woke up with a pretty bad headache today.
Mm,
That's a data point, right?
right.
I overspent at the grocery store. Therefore, my bank account has this much money. That's a data point. It is what it is. I'm not less of a human being, but it does let me know what I get to change and focus on moving forward.
And go deeper with it. Like just kind of sit with it. I would invite you to journal on it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I knew it in the moment, like I knew it. What was like I'll tell you I get hungry, I'll be out running errands. This is my downfall. I'll be out running errands. Um, pirate booty. Do you know what pirate booty is?
Oh, I am very familiar with pirate booty. That is a fixture of my 10-year-old's lunches.
Pirate booty is my crack. Like I love pirate booty. And if I go to a certain store, it's not carried everywhere out here, and I go to a certain store, I have to like make the commitment to myself. I will not buy pirate booty when I am in that store. I will not, because it will totally throw me off. There's no reason for me to buy it. There's no
Yeah.
reason, and I can find reasons. Oh, well, you did good this week, so let's reward yourself, right? I
Mm-hmm.
feel so good when I make the decision not to eat the pirate booty, to not buy the pirate booty. It's like I get to take that step forward up, like there I am in integrity with myself.
Yeah. Just to share one for me. So I have a dairy allergy. I don't know if the listeners know this, but it's not, oh, you're lactose intolerant. It's like, no, like I will go to sleep if I consume dairy, like it
Mhm.
involuntarily against my will, night, night, right? I made the wonderful slash unfortunate discovery that Oreos contain no dairy in them. They don't contain anything that naturally exists on this planet, but they are also dairy free and therefore don't put me to sleep where a lot of cookies do. I will eat Oreos by the package. Like that whole 2 cookie serving size is a mere suggestion to me when I have Oreos in my vicinity. And so, similar to you have the pirate booty. I have Oreos. Like, I get to commit to myself when I go to the grocery store to just keep walking by the Oreos and not let them take me out, because I love them. I feel so bloated and gross and lethargic after I eat them because, to your point, you can read the packaging. They are nothing but chemicals. I love the way they taste just the same, but it's not in my highest good to buy the Oreos because I'm going to consume them. And then where else does that impact my life with my mood, my energy, my
Yeah.
anything else throughout my
Yeah.
day?
Would your higher self be sitting and eating Oreos? Like,
Mm-mm.
would I be buying pirate booty for all the kids on the hobby farm?
Yeah. This is a little extreme, but I've actually seen guys on YouTube who find whatever their like snack item of choice is, and they will buy a large package of it, however it's packaged, and they will have it sit on their desk. And it's an entire, I think, very, very over the top version of I have unlimited self control because I can have this family sized bag of Doritos sit on my desk. And they challenge themselves, how long can I go without opening this container of pirate booty or Oreos or Doritos, whatever the thing is?
Wow.
I'm not suggesting folks do that, but it's definitely an over the top example of
Gotcha.
choosing your higher power versus just going with the flow in a way that doesn't serve us. Marti, I want to be sure that we give this some time. I know we talked about the hobby farm and that amazing, amazing vision and the impact you want to create with it. What else are you up to currently as a transformational life coach? And how can folks connect with you off of the podcast?
So I have a program that'll be starting after the first of the year. Embrace Your Magnificence. So learning to love and honor yourself and be present to your thoughts and being in integrity with yourself. Integrity as a strategy. So like we said with the pirate booty and the Oreos, being present, slowing down and being present to your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings that would cause you to even think about the pirate booty or the Oreos. And what are you avoiding? I hate that phrase. What are you avoiding? Like what is that you want to bring into your life that you're avoiding? What is it that you want to bring forward? So anyway, people can reach me at www.meomarti.consulting.com.
I love that. And, folks, definitely take the opportunity to give Marti's website a look over. Definitely touch base with her because this is somebody that has been a part of my journey over the last several years and really allowed me to tap into my joy in a lot of ways that I previously felt like was impossible if I'm just going to own it. So this is my endorsement of Marti and the work that she does. And definitely take the opportunity to reach out to her for coaching, support, to connect, to see what's possible for you, not only in 2025, but right here and now, as life is
Yeah.
always now, right here in this present moment.
Yeah. So question, are you in your joy when you're choosing Oreos?
Ooh, this is a mind bender, Marti. I am experiencing a great amount of joy when I am consuming Oreos.
When you're consuming.
However, very shortly thereafter, I feel awful, like
Mm.
truly awful in my physical being.
Have you ever noticed what causes you to choose the Oreos in the first place? What state of mind or emotion you're experiencing that causes you to think about Oreos?
It's usually, ooh, I think I know where you're going with this, and this is exciting. It's usually when I'm in a place of I'm feeling stressed, I'm pushing my self-worth off to the side because I'm hungry and I just need to eat something and it doesn't matter what I eat because I don't matter in that moment. I just need calories. And so Oreos, here we go.
Yeah. I don't matter.
Yeah.
And you do matter. We all
Thank you. I
matter.
know. We do all matter. Oh, so good. So good.
So thank you, Stu. I love this conversation. I could go on for hours about so many things. Like
Yeah.
life
No,
is such a journey.
it certainly is. Marti, I know we talked about your website, but where else can folks connect with you?
Where else can they connect with me? Facebook, Instagram. I'm Success Strategist on IG. I'm Marti Ouellete, Marti Kelly Ouellete on Facebook. I think
There
that's
you
pretty
go.
much it. Yeah.
And as always, folks, we will be sure to have all of Marti's contact info made readily available in the description or the comment section, the show notes, wherever you are finding this podcast today. And question I ask everybody, Marti, before we sign off, what are you acknowledging yourself for today?
What am I acknowledging myself for today? Um, dedicating today to art. That's I've scheduled today for art. And I questioned myself, is doing the podcast art? Yes, because having this conversation has ignited energy and joy and appreciation for you on the journey that we've been together. I love you, Stu, and you've brought up all this creative energy for me to paint today.
Absolutely. I love that so much. Thank you for being here. This was a wonderful conversation. I love you too. And, like, I love to see where today's conversation takes you in your artistic endeavors.
Thank you.
Folks, this has been another episode of Your Inside Track to Success. Again, please share this out with somebody if you got any value out of today's conversation. I'm pretty confident you did. So just go ahead and hit that little share icon and push that out to at least one other person. But until then, we will catch you next week with another amazing guest or message. We will see you then.